Happy Monday, y'all. Happy Monday. Happy Monday. Happy Monday. Okay. Was I with y'all yesterday? Y'all getting a double dose. Okay, double dose of me. So make sure as you come in, you let me know if you are new here, if you're a new subscriber, if you just joined, if you're just catching the live. And don't forget to hit the like button. Okay, I need y'all to hit that like button and join the membership. It's only $1. But if you just came in to have a good time with me, what it do? What it do? What it do? Okay, we got some things to talk about. But first, let's check in while everyone's getting notified, pulling up. Okay, what y'all pulling up in? Okay. Oh, you just found me today. Welcome, Amber. Welcome, Amber. Let's celebrate you, okay? Because we do some things over here when we got new people in the building. Okay, we got some new people in the building. Welcome. So glad that you not only did you find me, you just decided to stay. Because it's one thing to find me, but it's another thing to decide. I want to have a seat on the couch. Okay, I want to have a seat on Miss Denise's couch. Okay, with the rest of my couch potatoes. Is that your new name? The couch potatoes? Okay. Hey, how y'all doing? Over here in Texas, it's about 40 degrees. And since I'm from LA, I'm not used to that. Okay. I'm not used to the 40 degrees, but we making it work. Okay. But tonight I really want to talk and dig a little bit deeper into this whole no contact trend. Is it a trend? It's a movement. It's a lifestyle. It ain't no trend. Okay. It ain't no trend. And it's Oprah a little tone deaf. Okay. It's your little tone deaf. Okay. All right. Hey girl, hey, welcome. Yeah, you caught another like you catching bodies over here. Were you on the live last night? I think you were in the live last night too. So um, I'm trying to make this a little bit of a habit. Okay, but welcome. I really want to get into, it's a trend. We be on social media too much. It's a social media therapist just, promoting, don't talk to your parents. Okay. Don't put up with that. Leave them people over there. Be selfish. It's the therapists who are really making this a trend, right? It wasn't that I got tired of the BS. It wasn't that I got tired of what the definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over again and expecting something different. It wasn't that. It was TikTok. Okay, we gonna blame TikTok today. We're gonna blame Facebook, Instagram, right? Right. It wasn't the way you treated me as a child. It wasn't that you abandoned me. It wasn't that, I cannot live because your needs became before mine. It wasn't the performative parenting. It wasn't the narcissism. It wasn't that you chose your man over me. Okay, it wasn't all those things. It wasn't. It was TikTok. Okay, it was TikTok. Okay, it was TikTok's fault. Okay. Okay, another doctor. Let's put some respect on it. A doctor in the house. Okay. Oh, you a therapist too, Amber? Okay. Okay. Hello. All right. Let's get into it. We're going to start this thing off right now. Hit that like button. Come on in. Join the community. Let's get into it.
Some experts believe that there's been a shift in how younger generations protect their mental health and their boundaries or have an expanded view of what is considered abuse. And that has led to a silent epidemic. So social media has millions of videos with the hashtag no contact from adult children who say that their parent or their sibling is toxic and they've had enough. So what is going on? So we gathered leading experts, and people with different experiences and points of view on this issue, including parents whose adult children have cut them off. And we'll hear from other adult children who chose to go no contact with their parents. I know this is a tender, hot button topic. My hope is that we can open up.
This guy right here, y'all. This guy.
the heart space and really listen. I'm not on anybody's side. I just want to hear what everyone has to say. So is this a new thing? Because I mean, for many, many, many years of doing shows and talking to families from all over the country and the world, when there's a crisis, people just sort of figured it out or came together at Thanksgiving and had a big fight. But is this new?
Yeah, I mean, there's always been estrangements, right? Forever there's been estrangements, but it's new the way we think about family. There's been a radical change in the way that we think about family. The old days of honor thy mother and thy father, respect thy elders, families forever, has given way to this much more of an emphasis on personal happiness, personal growth, my identity, my political beliefs, my mental health. So much so that today protecting my mental health is the single most common thing that I see in every single letter from every estranged adult child.
Has this been exacerbated or has this increased because of social media?
Oh, there's no question. Absolutely. Yeah, because you've got 2 billion hashtags toxic family and everybody's got.
Look how she's looking at him. Okay, look how she's looking at him. The same way I was looking at him. Okay. Gone are the days for some people, I'm not going to say all, of showing up because I have to. Because if I don't, I'm a bad child. I'm a bad daughter. Okay, I'm a bad daughter. And some of y'all are in the chat. No contact 6 months today. Okay. Thank you for staying. Thank you for staying. Okay. We're going to get into this too. We're going to get into this. Hey, Yolanda, how you doing, girl? Okay. How you doing? Okay. Oh, some of y'all just discovered me. Okay. Okay. Welcome to the set. Welcome to the set. Let me put you on game tonight. Okay. Welcome to all the new people. Thank you, Amber, for segueing us into Dr. Coleman. Thank you. I appreciate you. Okay. Dr. Coleman is so interesting to me that he's somebody who has gone through estrangement. Why do they call it estrangement, the older generation? Okay. But it was so interesting to me to watch him discuss this as a person who's gone through no contact. Okay. Who's gone through the pain of not having a child speak to them, having to rebuild, only for him to sit up there and I'm like, oh, okay, I see why your daughter at times wasn't talking to you. I see why you guys have had the relationship that you have. I feel like he, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like a little ego driven. Okay. And him blaming it on the social media therapist. The thing is, nowadays, people are looking for community. We are in a loneliness epidemic. I say that all the time. People are looking for their people, their community. And for the longest time, there were so many people who felt ashamed, who felt guilty, who felt like I could not come out and talk about the things I have been through with my parents. I could not say those things out loud because I would be shamed by my parents, by my siblings, by their family members, by friends. And now that people have found the space, the safety, and the words, people are less fearful and held back by the what if. What if I decide to go no contact? And so it's not about, oh, it's social media's fault. Social media has created different communities of people. And those communities have made people feel, oh, it's not just me. It's not just me. Okay? That's how you're looking right now, doctor. The nuclear family. Okay, the nuclear family. I'm doing good. I had a pretty light day with sessions. Okay. Dr. Coleman almost seemed annoyed he had to apologize. You've been in no contact with your father for 9 months. Most peaceful time of your life took you 41 years. And I want to know from you, Amber, what was it that for you was like, okay, I'm ready to do this. if you feel comfortable saying it. In my own experience, I have gone no contact off and on for the majority of my adult life. Okay. And there have been times where I've gone back and I'm like, okay, things were good for a cool minute, and then they are not. Okay. And to be honest with you guys, for the longest time, I wanted to talk about my own experience, but at the same time, have respect for my mother. So there's a way of talking about things at times where I want to still hold respect for that for her as a person, but also where does it lie for me to speak my piece and my truth? And I think a lot of people have gone through that, trying to figure out how to still remain respectful, but not um, hold your truth back for the needs and feelings of other people. And I think a lot of people can relate to that. But currently, I've been no contact since May. So what is that, like 5, 6 months at this point? So I've been there. I'm a therapist who has been through the different seasons. I've been through lots of therapy, different therapists. Um, the last therapist I had was a man, and I feel like in my own life, both times I've had male therapists. The first one was a white man. Was how I was in my early 20s, and then my last therapist was a black man. And I have had a female therapist. I think just one. I've been through 3 therapists. Oh, actually, the first time I first went to therapy was like when I was 19. He was white too. Interesting. Um, but I just personally feel like I have done better work with the male therapists I've had more than the female ones. I think each therapist had a different need for the season I was in those different chapters of my life. But I personally feel like looking back at all my personal therapy experiences, I have just had better, like, aha moments, probably with more male therapists in my own experience. Okay. Oh. How boomers and older Gen X, how capitalism has created a culture where work neglect created latchkey kids pipeline to parental parentification. Interesting. Let me like file that back here because that's something we have not talked about. Okay. Oh, do we got another doctor in the house? Dr. Coleman was arrogant and probably acts like he knew best when it came to his daughter. I got that vibe. Okay. He would like to think you would think he'd have empathy. Some of y'all favorite therapists who have these public platforms be different people behind the scenes. I have experienced it. I'm not going to name no names. I'm not going to be petty tonight, but I've had my own experience with some of these popular TV therapists you be seeing. They ain't all they be trying to be on online. Okay. They really not. But let's finish up.
If you line up and you're an estranged parent, you're going to get onto a Facebook site. If you're an estranged adult child, you're going to probably get onto Reddit or something like that. And you're going to get support for your perspective. But these aren't people who actually know your parents or know your adult child. They're going to kind of tell you what you want to hear. So there's this very inflammatory reaction that people have as a result of it. And partly that happens because we've become so divided as a society. People are kind of looking for their tribes because their tribes are, they don't have them anymore.
So some experts.
I do agree that people are looking for their tribes. People are looking for a place to feel seen, because I feel like so many people don't feel seen in their own lives. That sometimes it could be a good thing and a bad thing. For me, I feel like Reddit can be like a deep hole of negativity. You have probably people who love Facebook, people who love TikTok. Different age groups represent different social media platforms, but I think there are a lot of people who are looking for that. And I think, looking at Dr. Gibson and his own personal experience, how could you say those things, but then go through the things you went through with your own daughter? I also think about, like, now you and your daughter are in a better place. I wonder how she feels about the things you said. Were some of my questions. Okay. So my questions. Everyone wants their trauma to be understood, but have zero tolerance or patience for their parents' trauma. They have even fewer resources. Okay. Nope, no contact prevents the understanding to break. Nah, I'm gonna have to disagree on that one. No contact prevents the understanding to break generational curses. I think going no contact can be a catalyst for breaking generational cycles and curses. You deciding to go no contact to me shows that you're a cycle breaker. Okay, you're trying to break the cycle, so I'm gonna have to disagree there on that one. Okay. Hello. Oh, he sent a 6-page tirade after I confronted him about his poor and low effort treatment of me and my kids. It was the final nail in the coffin. The things he said were unforgivable. Low key been there. Okay. Low key been there. But who is saying that we expect the, I'm not gonna say oppressor, I'm gonna say the abuser. I'm gonna call thing a thing. Okay. I don't think that I expect the abuser to understand me. I expect them to respect my boundaries. I'm not asking for understanding. Because sometimes you recognize people are not capable of giving you what you need, but that does not mean I have to have you enter my life or stay in my life. Okay, it's not about understanding, it's about respecting my boundaries. And the boundary is that where you are right now is not a place where I want you to be in my life. So for me, it's not about understanding. Okay, it's not about understanding. You knew when you were 12. 7 years strong. What about Dr. Joy? You want me to be petty? Nah, I'm not gonna be petty. I'm not gonna be petty tonight and put that person name out there. One day I might put their name out there, but not tonight. Oh, you got some feelings tonight. These privileged people tell you to leave your family while they combine their fabulous wealth and who are these people? Who is Dr. Armani? Is the girl from Married to Medicine LA? Is that who you're talking about? Mm-hmm. How do you understand what you never asked about? What do you mean? Okay, I might need some of these comments, y'all. Oh, you watched it. Okay, what are your thoughts? You watched it? I might have to make you a mod because these people up in here tonight. Yeah, it's a very heavy topic, very heavy. When someone is so toxic, you literally sick. You literally are sick having to deal with them. It's time to walk away. Yes. You've had chronic highs for 2 years leading up to no contact. Once I went no contact, the highs were gone. I think this is a interesting thing because I think people don't recognize physically how those interactions with parents, different people you were in relationships with, and how when you decide to cut whoever that is, a parent, a spouse, those physical symptoms go away. Ask yourself, like the anxiety you have, the hives, the rashes, the chronic illnesses you have, um, how do they stir up? What triggers them? Is there a person? Okay. She was only on Married to Medicine LA though. Like, what do you miss her from? She didn't really do a lot of commentary or anything. No, I just started the live like 20 minutes ago. I just started the live. But we get into that. I also want to talk about this was a
I
first
grew up
situation.
in a very performance-oriented household. It was attend an Ivy League school, get the money, the power, the status, be someone that we can feel proud of. And Bree very much did not come from that background. They were not super interested in getting to know her. And
They didn't like her.
yeah, that's the feeling that we got.
That's the short answer.
That's the
They didn't
feeling.
like her. They didn't like her.
And I said, this is the woman I'm going to marry. It went from what we perceived as apathy to more of, we don't like this. My parents, we found through friends, were scheduling lunches to have conversation with my friends where the topic was, we're worried about Chris. Can we delay this engagement or can we take this marriage off the table? The tables really turned was when we found out that Bree was pregnant with our first daughter. We were profoundly hurt by what we were met with, which was disappointment. What they described as they were embarrassed by us. It was actually the last conversation that I had with my parents before going no contact 4 years ago. I just remember walking out of that conversation thinking, for the years that Bree and I have been together, I've had to watch her endure that treatment of not feeling accepted. And the last thing that I would want to do is bring a daughter into the world where she will walk into the world on day one and experience that treatment from her grandparents. I grew up in a very...
So this situation to me was very interesting. And I think a lot of people can relate to it. To me, there's like themes of control. And I wondered for the longest time if his parents had control over him. And then they were also a very enmeshed family where you're like this close and nobody new can kind of like come in because you're this close, that they saw her as a threat. There was that. And then I wondered about the socioeconomic status that he comes from. If they were expecting him to marry up, and maybe that was the situation that he didn't. She's also no contact with her family due to religious reasons. So it's very interesting to watch how even in choosing a partner, sometimes choosing that partner means you have to go no contact because of the way the family is treating your partner. And I think a lot of people do not oftentimes choose their partners over their family. Most of the time, the partner has to deal with the dysfunctionality of the family if they want to be with the person. And then that family ends up kind of tearing the marriage apart. But they decide, this is not, I don't want to see you keep going through this, so I'm going to cut them off. Okay. Oh, I didn't know she had a podcast. I know she remarry her husband or something like that and kind of like fell off the face of the planet socially. Yeah, the whole trend thing, I think it's easy to frame it as a trend because it's like, oh, it'll go away. Instead of self-reflecting, instead of turning the mirror on myself and recognizing how I contributed to my child and I wanted to be around me, have a relationship with me, it's like, oh, it's a fad. Just like low-rise jeans. Just like mom jeans. They'll come back around. It's an excuse. It's really an excuse. It's really an excuse. Yeah, I think his parents they had a life planned out for him. And what happens when the child does not meet the life you had planned for them? This was a school you were going to go to. This was the job you were going to have. We had an idea of how you were going to be before you were born. And I think for the longest time, like he said, it was performative. Long as he was productive and did what his parents wanted, followed the rules, colored within the lines, there were no issues. And I wonder if, him being with this other person took him out of that environment and they didn't like that. Okay. They did not like that. So I feel like there's themes of control in his situation. And he finally, I think, had a voice. I did find a video that he did. He did like a follow-up video.
My wife and I recently went on the Oprah podcast to talk about going no contact with my parents. And unsurprisingly, my parents' business partner's wife commented this. And unfortunately for people who have gone no contact with their parents, this can be a common experience. To set the record straight, the only two people that I've ever gone no contact with are my parents. And sadly, when you do that, some family members can follow along. And I truly hold no resentment towards them because I understand how manipulative parents can be. And I'm really just grateful for the family members who still do support us. Now, I don't know where Di got the idea that I cut off my brothers, but given that she knows my parents in real life, I have some suspicions about where she might have gotten that lie. For the record, I do have relationship with other family members, and just the other week, I was in New York to visit a family member. Di is just one of the many flying monkeys that we have dealt with over the past few years. For example, when I was low contact with my parents and actively trying to work through issues with them with a moderator, my mom's personal trainer actually reached out to me, and he told me that my mom was really struggling with her workouts in the gym, and if I could just drop the whole thing, that would really help her. Now, I know some people want to act like cutting people off is some pattern of behavior of mine, except we are not the first or the last people to cut my parents out. There were so many many times in childhood when family members were cut off and let back in and cut off and let back in and cut off and let back in and over and over. It was just a continuous cycle. So if you're going to want to build a case based on patterns of behavior, then you're going to want to stop pointing fingers, because it seems like we figured out what other family members figured out ages before us. My wife and
Normally it's not the first person in the family. Sometimes you see different things happen, but you're a child, so you really don't understand the dynamics. But to have a personal trainer reach out, the mom was like so desperate, like, okay, you blocked me, you haven't talked to me. Who else can I get to reach out to you? Okay, oh, my personal trainer. That's desperation right there. A lot of desperation. Now, it doesn't sound like the mom or the dad decided, hey, let's work on ourselves, let's make some changes. No, let's find somebody else to reach out to him to see, okay, can we get back in some way? Okay. And have y'all heard the term flying monkeys? I wonder if people are familiar with that term when it comes to narcissism. You have your main narcissist, and then you have the flying monkeys, the people who do the dirty work, the enablers, the people around them who continue to have them be protected because they have all these flying monkeys around them doing different things. I believe the term comes from the Wizard of Oz. Okay. But yeah, it was just like the mom was just like, okay, I'm gonna cross your boundary. I'm just gonna have somebody else reach out to you. All right. So they're saying they refuse to accept that we can think for ourselves and call it a trend or brainwashing by social media when we go no contact. If you break ranks, if you push back, you're clearly influenced. Yes, you're clearly influenced. Okay. But it's once again, it's he's the problem, his wife is the problem. The wife is the problem. And so like, let's look at us. Exactly. I'll get you my pretty. Yeah, I just think that I wonder if his parents will let me look at his profile real quick. Did he make any other videos? Oh, that's like the only video he had. But another thing that comes up is grandkids. You know, when you have to explain to your kids about why they don't have a relationship with grandma and grandpa. Okay.
my wife and I
I think, it's very hard to have a relationship with parents, not have a relationship with them, but they have a relationship with their kids. I honestly feel like in a lot of ways it's impossible to have a relationship with only the kids and not you as a person, because you're still going to have to communicate about pickups, overnights, things like that. So I want to know if anyone's done it, like how you do it, because to me it feels like it's impossible. It's also like, okay, got it. You respect me as an adult because I'm your child. Pretend you met a coworker at this age who didn't have kids. You'd respect them more than you respect me right now. Probably. Okay. And that's another thing, is that as you get older and you become an adult, it's like sometimes parents still see you as the child. They can never see you as the adult person, so they still treat you like a child. I think there's a lot of people who are in situations where they want to be seen as an adult, but their parents continue to treat them as a child. Okay, it's like, I'm an adult now. You can't control me. I make my own decisions. I have a life. But in their minds, it's hard for them to see you now as an adult. Thank you for sharing. Thank you. Thank you for sharing your story. Of course. Okay, let's listen to this one.
Yes, I am estranged from my 30-year-old son by choice. And what I do notice, even in the room, when the children were speaking, people were kind of nodding and agreeing with them. But the moment Christy started telling her side of the story, people were kind of like, you know what I'm saying? My platform speaks similar to hers on behalf of the parent, because parents are suffering in silence. And when children become estranged, they are celebrated, they're supported, people rally behind them. But when their mother decides to go no contact with her child, she's demonized.
Mhm.
And that's been my experience.
You made the decision to go no contact. Why with your son?
My son he's caused me verbal, emotional, physical trauma, and financial trauma for over 15 years now.
Mm. And you just decided enough.
2 years ago, he threatened my husband and myself, and I made a conscious decision that that was the last straw.
Yeah.
Because he didn't get his way.
You didn't.
Why do you? I didn't pick up on this the first time I watched this. Both the women, the parents who would no contact, they both said because the kids didn't get their way. Okay. I didn't pick up on that the first time. But I think with this lady's situation, it's a lot deeper. Okay, it's a lot deeper. I wonder about, her relationship with her son before her new man came along. Do you need something? Before the new partner came along, how was he incorporated into the relationship? I wonder about those things, but I don't know. There's something more here. I wonder if she didn't have boundaries with him, and then once a new husband came along, she started setting boundaries, and the son didn't like that. I just think that there's more to this situation than we've actually heard. Okay. Oh, thank you. I'm not a doctor though. You can relate to the couple going no contact with their parents. You've been no contact for about 4 years now. Now I wonder, I always have questions. I'm like, I don't know how much personal stuff you want to share. But for you, was it an ongoing thing where eventually got to the point where you have been thinking about it before you met the person, or was it impacted by the relationship that you had with the person? The parent thing is not as common. It's not really discussed. In my honest opinion, that's why there's not widely acceptable feelings versus people with parents who refuse to respect them. It's interesting though, because I feel like there's so many more platforms of parents who create these platforms of why their kids went no contact. I know the woman on here has a platform. There was this other lady who I actually did a video on earlier this year, last year. And she came to me, she seemed like she's a narcissist too. But why do you guys think that there's more backlash for the parents who say that they chose no contact or have platforms for no contact versus kids saying adult children? Yeah. I actually checked out the other woman's platform a little bit. And that in that situation, I wonder if her and her daughter would have a better relationship if she let go of the platform. How much of her speaking up and being on TikTok making these videos has impacted her daughter's ability to want to forgive her or want to come back around? Yeah, she did say that her son threatened her. Let's finish it.
Didn't get his way.
Yeah.
And has he respected the no contact?
No.
He has not.
No, he has not. He sends threats that if we don't unblock him, he just threatened my husband yesterday as I got off a flight.
Yeah.
Saying if we don't unblock him, if I don't speak to him, he's going to do some harm to us.
Wow.
So that's been my experience. And parents don't go no contact for very small reasons. It takes a lot for a mother to make that conscious choice. And I've been experiencing this for over 15 years since his dad and I got a divorce and I got remarried 18 years ago.
Oh. And you have a question?
My question is, why are parents always demonized when they speak their truths or when they make a conscious decision to go no contact, but estranged children are celebrated and rallied behind? Yes, I am estranged.
What do y'all think? I feel like people were also saying they feel like her question was not directly answered by the experts. From a therapeutic perspective, I wonder if there's just so many layers to this situation that you can't really give a single answer because it's a safety concern. And I wondered about her safety and her coming up here and sharing her story. Could that trigger her son to do something more serious? So it was very brave of her to speak up. But some people feel like they kind of walked around responding to her and didn't give her a direct answer. Yeah, I agree. I think the daughter would reconcile with her mother if she stopped making them damn videos. Yes, it takes a lot. It takes a lot, you guys. It's not I didn't get my way. My mother didn't give me money. My father didn't show up for me for um a party. It takes a lot. It's a lot of I got tired of putting up with the BS. I got tired of the abuse, the verbal abuse. I got tired of being put down as a child, saying that you are selfish and all the negative things. It takes a lot, and I think people don't recognize how much it really takes to cut off somebody, especially a parent. The pressures of that's still your mother, that's still your father. Um, it's not a trend. It's very hard. It's very hard. It's so hard. I wonder, is this her actual oh, this is her actual platform, it looks like. Did she say what is she saying?
Hey, grandparents, tap in. Grandparents with adult grandchildren. I just want to talk to you for a moment because you asked me questions like, should I still send birthday gifts? Should I still send cards? Should I still do all these
Oh, she
different
has a whole
things for
platform on this.
grandchildren that are in their 20s or late teens or 11 plus years old? First of all, they're old enough to establish their own relationships with you if they wanted to. Okay. Yeah. If they really wanted to, if you and your child are in no contact and your grandchildren have become a casualty of that war,
A casualty, no, it's if that kind of behavior and relationship is not good enough for me, why is it okay for my kids? Okay, if I'm in a place where it's hurting me, why would I want to put my kids in the same situation? Okay, I didn't know this woman had a whole platform, which kind of makes sense of how she got on the show, but um I didn't know she had a whole platform about being no contact.
they're old enough to establish their own relationships with you. So I ask you this question. Why would you continue to send things to people who don't send you thank yous, who don't even acknowledge you, who don't reach out to you, who don't communicate with you at all when they are of age where they can communicate with you on their own if they chose to? So yeah, I don't understand that. I don't understand the guilt that's behind it either. Because again, if you have grandchildren that are 11 plus years old, first of all, you know they have phones. You know they have ways to communicate with you if they so choose to. And if you have been the one that's been reaching out to them and they won't respond, it's clear that they don't want a relationship with you either. I know that is hard to hear.
They're 11, y'all. I think some of the ways she's speaking like an 11-year-old child. Okay, an 11-year-old child. Yes, they can communicate if they have a phone. Okay, but this is the problem that I have. I don't know if it's just like in the Black community, but oftentimes I feel like adults expect children to act like adults and give them adult responsibilities and want from them. If that 11-year-old child wanted a relationship with you, they have a phone and they can pick it up. They're 11. What are most 11-year-olds doing? Are they thinking about having a relationship with grandma? Especially if grandma's not in my life because she's not in my mama life. Okay, an 11-year-old, they want some Roblox. Okay, they want Robux. They want to be outside on their bikes. They want to be with their friends. You really think that 11-year-old is going to put that game controller down because grandma is calling who they never see and never talk to? Okay, so this makes no sense, but it pisses me off because I can relate to it. Okay, that's why it's irritating me. It's like the child is 11 years old. Okay. They're 11. Yeah, and it's like, it's just ridiculous to expect an 11-year-old to build a relationship with you. They're 11. 11. Yes. 11 years old. Okay. You had a partner who loved, also on the cancer, an abusive drinker. He's like, you don't know when you lose her. Oh, I've heard that too. I don't want to go no contact because what if while I'm going no contact, something happens to my parent? And that is a thought. Okay, that is something, but you have to make a decision if, if that thought or that fear is stronger than the abuse, the mistreatment, if that's more acceptable. Like, I don't want to deal with the guilt of something happening to my parent while I'm going no contact. So I'd rather just kind of, keep them around. I've heard that a lot in therapy. But I think you have to weigh the options of, do I stick around on a maybe? That's something too, but I think it's a very hard thing. Okay. Yeah, 11-year-old, yeah, 11. Have my parents tried to contact me? No. No, they tried, my mother tried to talk to my kids, but my kids are very intuitive, having a therapist as a mother. And my son is 11. That's probably why this is bothering me, because my son is 11, one of my sons. Um, but no, you know, I have a clear-cut boundary. And I think when I set boundaries in my life, people know, don't step over her boundaries. Okay. So no. And that's the thing. Okay, I wanted to touch on this because she says she'd been married to the new husband. What did she say? 18 years she'd been married to the new guy? I may have missed that. Yeah, expecting an 11-year-old to build a relationship is nuts, y'all. Is nuts. Okay, so it's not just me. It's not just me. The grandparents with all the accolades, with all the effort and genuine connection. Okay. Yeah, she irritated me. I didn't know she had a platform. She expects an 11-year-old still living at home with their parents to go against their parents' wishes and contact the grandparents. Yes. And now she's saying, don't send them gifts. If they don't want to F with me, don't send them little kids no gifts. I knew watching that clip on Oprah, I'm like, there's more to this story. And her personality is part of the problem. Her expectations. I'm the mama. You're supposed to respect me no matter what. Okay. Now I do think, if there seems to be a layer of safety, according to her, there seems to be a layer of safety, which is another thing. Okay. Yeah, I know it's lay at a platform. Yeah, she's very tone deaf. Very tone deaf.
And I know it is hard to process, but I'm here to tell you the truth, okay? Not to keep you from trying to reconcile, not to keep you from having a relationship, but to keep you enlightened, okay? And so you think logically instead of emotionally all the time. So there should be no guilt if you don't send a card or a birthday gift when they don't even respond when you send them. You get them back, or you don't even get so much as a thank you. That's a courtesy that should go
11.
to anyone who does something for you. I mean, hell, I thank people for opening the door for me. So let alone, God forbid, God would be graceful, not God forbid, if I still have my grandparents and they did that. Do you honestly think I would not try to reach out to them and have a relationship with my grandparents if they were still alive? So yeah, that answers your question. You should not feel guilty. Because those children, those grandchildren of yours that you're sitting around saying you're mourning and you're weeping and you're broken and all this other type of stuff, and they're 11 plus years old or they're in their 20s, ma'am, grandparents, y'all go rest. Okay? I cannot express that enough. Go rest.
Why do we, I can only speak for my own community, why do we put so much pressure on kids to be an adult so quick? To not have a childhood. Once you reach the age of probably 11 or 12, all that children, all that child stuff, playing with the toys, it's time for you to be an adult. And that's why so many kids are parentified and are not able to learn as a child going into adulthood how to just exist with joy, experience different life things, because they were told at 11 years old, it's time to be a man. At 12 years old, it's time to be a woman. It's time to have some responsibilities. All that kid shit you've been doing. 11 years old. 11 years old, y'all. Yeah, she ridiculous. Okay. She ridiculous. She is ridiculous. Oh. Okay, girl. Okay. Yeah, it's just like they're 11. They on video games. They on FaceTime with their friends. They want to go to their friend's house. You think they thinking about the birthday cards you sent? They open it up and try and pretend like they didn't see the money falling out. I don't really follow them as much. I see stuff on social media with them and the daughter they're trying to get in contact with more, even though the parents have set a clear boundary. Um, so expecting children to be mature and responsible adults while they get to act petty and childlike. Yeah, literal trauma. Yes. I don't think people want to be taught though, because I'm the adult and you're the child. You'll always stay in a child's place. I think it's her ego, but I don't know how many followers she got. Yeah, it's the platform that's also. I did not know she had a whole ass platform. No, that's crazy.
Hey, y'all. Bring it on in. I find it really funny when people around you, they don't seem to need any proof to believe any of the lies or disparaging comments about you coming from your kids. But yet, they expect us to present all the evidence in the world to them to plead our case like we're on trial or to explain ourselves in order for them to believe the truth. That's because they don't like us. Yeah, I know. Some family, some friends, that's why they're so quick to believe the lies, because they don't like us. I know, I had to say it. So they're always more open to believe the lies over the truth. It's not until that same child turns on them that they start to see what's really going on. And that's why I would rather cut acres of grass with scissors than ever explain the type of mom that I have been and that I am to anyone.
Yeah, her ego death right here. A lot of her ego is the reason why she doesn't have a relationship with her son. You can just feel the aura of her ego.
So y'all stop explaining and stop caring about anyone's opinion when you know exactly who you are and who you have been. So for those of you that ask me questions like, well, what do you say when someone asks about your estranged child? I say, I hope that he's doing well. Or I say, I don't speak to him anymore, unapologetically. And I leave it right there because I don't owe anybody any explanation, and neither do you. But anyway, off topic, I heard you guys asking me, was I going to have another seminar or another virtual session? Yes, December 13th.
Oh, she doing
12 p.m.
seminars?
Eastern time. It's linked in my Instagram bio or wherever you're looking. The link is there.
Oh, she's making money off of this too. She's making money off of it too. But yeah, she just reminds me of the people who are like, why I gotta change? I am who I am. If you want to have a relationship with me, this is who I am. Okay, that's what she reminds me of, her ego. She got an ego. And instead of, looking at myself to see how I contribute to this, I'm gonna have some seminars. Okay, link in my bio. Join the Zoom call. Let's get together and reminisce and talk about these kids who ain't shit and how they treat us like we wasn't there for them their whole lives. Telling me I'm not a good mother. Okay. I know who I am and I ain't gotta prove myself to nobody. Same old like spill. Children never get to be kids. Nope. Never do with these kind of mothers. Okay. Never do. Oh, hey Gia, how you doing? Hey girl, hey. And now that I know she has a whole platform, it kind of makes me wonder about the safety piece. Because if you were really concerned about your safety, I don't think you'd be on here making all these videos. Like, I was legit kind of like, okay, you speaking up, could this trigger him to do something more to you or your husband? But it don't seem like she's scared. Okay, it don't seem like she's scared. You said, Tyra. Oh, she got books too? Oh, Jesus. Jesus. There's none because of the ego. Her ego is too big for the relationship with her son. And once again, it's another person who, my platform. Instead of probably doing the work and trying to rebuild a relationship with her son. Oh, you think she the grifters? You was in here last night too, I think. Yeah, she is. She is. I think this is true, but at the same time, I kind of wonder if the platform she has on Instagram and TikTok fills the void for her. Because she talking on here like no care. No care. Exactly. Exactly. It doesn't give off to me that I'm fearful of my safety. It really doesn't. Okay. Let's see. What Oh, that won't play. Okay.
We need to talk about why so many moms are tolerating abuse from their own children. And I'm not just talking about the silent abuse, like the no contact or ghosting them or just not talking to them. I'm talking about some verbal, emotional, financial, and even physical abuse. And then I'm wondering, why are we so willing to tolerate this from our children? Because too many moms are out here suffering in silence, and some of them are even losing their lives. We are taught to endure this abuse, to pray it away, to pray for our children, to forgive them, to never give up on them. We're asked questions like, why didn't you spank them enough or beat them enough? Or have you taken them to therapy? All of this, what have you done to make the situation better? But here's the truth. Love should not cost us our dignity. It should not cost us our safety. And damn it, love shouldn't hurt. We need to talk.
The thing is, like, some of the stuff she's saying is true. It's just her tone is in her other videos does not match. Okay. Now in this one, if you didn't see the rest of her content or the other videos that we watched, I would kind of be like, okay, what she's saying is true, but her tone is like very much ego. Okay. But damn, she got books, she got a podcast. For a long time, you avoided no contact because you wanted to protect the image of the family. Yeah, I think a lot of people go through that and then realize my mental health was more important. Yeah. Sometimes people figure like the image, some of this FOMO, once I go no contact, I'm going to miss out. The functions, the parties. Do I really want to miss out on those things? So I'd rather just grin and bear it than have to sit at home and not be at Thanksgiving dinner, the birthday parties. And you might know that once you go no contact, your cousins, your sisters, your siblings are going to side with your parents. Okay. I'm your mother. And I said, girl, are you really though? That is a title, ma'am, with no action behind it. Entitlement. That is also it. The video of her talk about the grandparents, that to me, it rang entitlement. Okay. So I just feel like that's another thing is entitlement. The entitlement feeds the ego, and the ego gets fed by social media. Okay, having these platforms. Make sure you guys are hitting the like on the live, please. Please hit the like, please. Let me know if this is your first live also, so I can shout you out. If you're a new member, if you want to become a member, the membership is only 99 cents. Okay, so join the membership also. If you're just watching, become a subscriber. Join the subscription, join the party, join the community. Most estranged kids don't speak out against their parents because they are afraid. Yes, they are afraid. But these parents seem very bold. I think, one of the things I also talk about a lot on this channel is that shame. Shame has been replaced by audacity. Okay. I think 5 years ago, before the pandemic, people would have shame. They would not be saying some of these things, doing some of the things we see on social media, but shame does not exist anymore. Audacity has risen to the surface. Okay. Who needs shame when I get paid to have audacity? I have followers off audacity. Okay. I don't need shame. Yeah, no self-awareness. Okay. Yeah. I don't know if they really care to though. It fills that void in her. As a mother, there has to be some sense or some feeling of damn, like I really don't have a relationship with my own child. Even if just a little bit, there has to be something. No contact is abuse. You switching it up now. Thank you. Thank you. Image. More focus on the image. Just more focus on the image. Like no accountability. No accountability. Yeah, join the membership, everybody. We had a couple new members last night. Let's get a couple new members today. Join the membership. Hit that like button. Yep. It's at the Goodwill. Shame went out of style. Having shame is not in style anymore. Yeah, she's very ego driven. Very emotionally immature. Oh, thank you. This is your first live. Let's celebrate you, okay? Oh, this is your first live too? Okay, let's do this. This is your big one. This is your big one, okay? Oh, fear is a big thing. Fear is so big. It holds you back in so many ways, not just in this dynamic, but in general. I feel like so many people are fearful of so many different things that they're not living. They're not living for themselves. They are living with fear at the forefront, and fear is in control of their lives. Yes, she is. Yes, welcome to all the new people. This is your first live. I think we watched 3 videos, Gia. I ain't hear nothing about no therapy. Okay. I didn't even know she had a damn platform. Grand Rising.
Grand Rising. How y'all doing? Yeah. I always said that the conversation around no contact always seems to be centered around the adult child. And why is it that they have so much support, so many rallying behind them? Congratulations, you're estranged from your parents. They get all of that, all the applause, which they love, by the way. Let's keep it real. Because it centers all the attention around them, the same way we did for them. But I digress. The reason why the conversation is often so centered around the adult child becoming estranged is because they've been the loudest. Yeah. They've been the loudest while we suffered in silence. We kept all.
Girl. So not only is it her ego, she has a victim mentality, victimhood. Okay, I've been hurt. I was silenced. Me, I. Her ego is like a hell of a drug for her. Okay. Yes, I'm so happy people are here too. Last night we had 120 people in the live. That was crazy. I think that might be no, Love Island lives are pretty big too. So very true. Very true. Very true. Very true. Good. You took back your power. Good. But this lady is a trip, y'all.
All of our feelings and our emotions and our comments to ourselves. And then when we do try to comment on their perspectives on social media in these echo chambers that they have, you parents get eaten alive. You get eaten alive because they don't want to hear another perspective. Yeah, they don't want to hear anything else but their own voices. So yeah, that's why the conversation is always centered around them. And it is very daft of any adult child or any adult, period, to say that a child has not caused or cannot cause their parent any trauma. It is very daft for anyone to say that a child couldn't have abused their parents, especially mothers. Okay. So yeah, I think that instead of you all using ChatGPT to be able to speak back to your mothers or psychoanalyze your mothers, be your therapist, or capitulate to you, I think you need to use ChatGPT also to research the data that is around parents that have been abused by their children, parents that have been caused trauma by their children. And the fact that that is even questionable, that's part of the problem. But like I said, the reason why the conversation is always centered around them is because they are always the loudest while we have suffered and sat back.
She believed her own bullshit. Okay. And the way it sounds like she's talking to somebody when she needs to be talking to a therapist, but she's using TikTok to talk to her son. Okay. No. Mm-mm. Exactly. Girl, bye. She needs to heal. Oh, you think she's jealous of the perceived attention her estranged child might be getting? The child is the loudest, yet her son doesn't have a dedicated TikTok. Thank you. You clocked it, boo boo. You clocked it. She's the one on here doing seminars, books, podcasts, having a whole platform, looks like on Instagram and TikTok. Okay, and TikTok, y'all. You seem louder than your son because I have not seen the son come out and say nothing. Nothing. Yeah, it was all about her. It was all about her. But the crazy thing is, it's people in her comments saying, I'm so happy I found you. I decided to go no contact after 10 years of trying to be better, just to be used and abused mentally and financially. Thank you for your platform. Thank you for sharing this so much because I seriously thought I was on an island alone, fed up, and was an understatement. Thank you for speaking. I felt this so deeply. So just like there's a platform for people who have gone no contact who are their children, there's a platform for the adults too. Somebody said, I have your book and it's amazing. Thank you for having our backs. And I wonder how many of these people in the comments are the actual problem. Somebody said, I would no contact with my daughter. She was so cruel. It shattered me to my core. Breakdown almost ended my life. It's so isolating. Even though I know I made the right decision, it shattered me. It shattered me. It's like she's saying that her son stole her debit card and used to send himself Western Unions. So I think in this situation there's issues on both sides, his and hers, but I only hear her making all these TikToks about him. Okay. She's passive aggressive too. Yeah, very interesting. She lost me when she said an 11-year-old should be making an attempt to make a relationship with a grandparent. That's where she big time lost me. Before I found all this, I kind of felt bad for her. The whole ChatGPT thing makes me think she's talking about somebody. Wild, y'all, wild. Yep, a lot of projection. Displaced anger. I have not seen any comments that sound like bots. Let me see if what other ones that I want to
Yes,
get. Yeah, follow me on TikTok, y'all. Oh, this one.
Bawling, crying. The whole stadium's looking at me. And from that point on, I was like, this is done. Like, she does not have a care for me. And with me being a mom now.
She couldn't leave quietly.
And she couldn't just get up and go.
I know.
And so.
She had to cause a scene.
Yeah. A whole scene.
Yeah.
And so, like, I'm a mom now and I'm a single mom. And so there's points in motherhood where I'm like, whew, like, I get that it can be a lot, like, you know, but I could never just walk away from my child. Like, I just couldn't understand doing that. And so I get a lot of judgment for it. Like when something happens and people are like, you know, your mom isn't feeling well or something like that. Like, it's like, you know, I don't have that empathy because it's just like, you know, she didn't really have it for me. And it's hard for me because it's like, you know, I understand, you know, like that she is my mother and this whole you only have one mother thing. However, we did not have that relationship. And so what weighs on my heart and mind a lot is the forgiveness. And sometimes I'm like, will I ever be able to just forgive her and let this go? Because it's like, you know, some people's mothers have passed away. My mother lived 20 minutes from me my whole life, you know, and just didn't want to be there.
Didn't see you.
Yeah, and just didn't want to see me by choice.
Well, I think that's so interesting because people use that phrase, particularly in our culture. You only have one mother.
Yes.
And they use that to guilt you. No matter what's been done to you, no matter what you've been through, you only have one mother. And it sounds like that you allow that sometimes to bother you, right? You feel embarrassed or the shame of that in some way.
Absolutely. I'm very empathetic, and it's the fact that it's like, I do understand she is my mother. However, it's like we don't have that relationship, you know? And so it's just like, you know.
Now, I wish I had the clip where Dr. Nadra was saying, somebody, a parent can birth you and not parent you. And does anybody remember the exact quote she said? Because it sounds like she birthed you, but she did not mother you. Having a child does not make you a mother. Okay. And it's unfortunate that this woman, I think she probably finally allowed her mom into her life, and the mom showed up at her graduation only to ruin it and make it about herself. Okay. Only to make it about herself. So, something else I wanted to speak on about this. You only get one mom. You only get one daddy. That's still your mama. That's still your daddy. Okay. All those things will hold you back and keep you in shackles and a chokehold of, I have to deal with this because, I only get one mother. And what if something happens to them? Okay. That will keep you in prison. And I feel like the poison of the hurt, you're just continuing to walk around with that instead of, you know what? I do only get one mother, but I only get one life. I get one life. And do I want to continue to live it for other people, or do I want to live it for myself? Okay, you only have one self. Remember that you only have one self. I was looking at that too. I'm like, I saw that. Yeah, these algorithms be feeding people egos. Oh, let's talk about this too, because that of course didn't get brought up in the pod. Okay. But for her to talk about this no contact trend, when Oprah, you've been through some things yourself. You've been through some things with your own mother, your own abuser, your own sister. Okay. And I wonder if that's the piece missing for people to kind of go back to not relating to Oprah, but I feel like in the early 2000s, the 90s, there was something about her that they look up to her, but it shifted at some point. And I don't know if it shifted because of the whole Weinstein thing. I don't know if it shifted. Didn't she do like did she do a documentary or something about Michael Jackson being a pedo? Did she do that? But she needs to talk about her own family relationships. Okay. The no contact she has with people, the things that she has been out. And I wonder if she talked more about her own self in that aspect, if people will come around more. Okay. Yeah, she was. She was abused. What do you mean sneak out the back? Yeah, she is weaponizing everything. Yeah, the only one mom thing will keep you putting up with bullshit for so long. Mm. Was it in the early 2000s when she did the story about discovering that she had a sister? or how her birth came about. Was it in the early 2000s or was it the 90s? Oh, you said she lost you when the way she treated Michael Jackson. Yeah. I feel like it was some of the big relationships that she had with all these billionaires who were problematic. The Weinsteins. Um, did she have a relationship with Jeffrey Epstein? I'm not really sure about that one. Hmm. What's else I want to talk? Oh, forgiveness. Okay. I think when it comes to forgiveness, for me, I always try and ask people, my clients, what does forgiveness look like for you? What does forgiveness mean to you? Does it mean that you forget about all the things you've been through with the person, you let them back in? I think forgiveness starts with yourself. You figuring out, do I need to forgive myself? Do I need to forgive the person? What would forgiveness feel like for me? Okay. Because there's a lot of people who are bullying themselves, who are hard on themselves, who are very critical about the decisions that they have made, the things that have happened to them. That oftentimes I think you have to start with forgiving yourself and recognizing that maybe you were only a child where some of these things happened. You didn't bring these people into your life. You didn't know how this person was. So I think forgiveness really also has to start with you. Mm. We talked about this last night. I wonder who is Oprah's therapist. Like, who's Oprah's therapist? It's just I think something changed because people used to love her. Something changed though. I don't remember this one. Oh, JJ, you liking the live? But I think when it comes to forgiveness, you have to focus on self. Too many times people focus and think about forgiveness of the other person. I have to forgive them. No, you have to start with yourself. Forgiving yourself, working on what would it feel like if I woke up tomorrow and I didn't feel this pain anymore? Okay. What would it feel like? What would my life be like? What would my life be like if I stopped walking around with this poison? The poison of hurt that's running through my veins while the persons out there living their life like nothing ever happened. You sitting over here thinking about how am I going to forgive them, and they living their life like what do I need to be forgiven about? What did I do? Why are you sitting on my couch? Okay, so I want you to think more about forgiveness being about what do you need it to be? What does it need to look like for you? Okay. I think maybe you're a cycle breaker, putting yourself first. And that's another part of healing too that's really hard is that you're the one deciding to make a change, make a difference while they still living their life in the bullshit. And then you start to wonder, like, is it really that bad? Like they look happy, they doing their thing. It is bad. But they have gotten used to the dysfunction that it seems okay. So don't second guess. Well, they look like they having a good time at the function, at the party. You could be like that too. But what comes along with that? Just what's the word? Ignorance. Ignorance is bliss. Somebody said Maya Angelou was her therapist. Yeah, it's about freedom. It very much is a process. But I want people to know that forgiveness is not about, oh, I'm just gonna forget everything that they did to me and have them come back into my life. It's really not like that. It's a process. Ah, so we're taking so much time to cut off the contact. Wow, that's pretty deep. Yeah, that second guessing will really beat you up. Okay, it'll really beat you up. Yes. Yes. But it's just ignorance. Ignorance is bliss. Ignorance is bliss.
know, she was never there for me.
Yeah.
Like, and whenever I would try, I would be met with hurt. And so it's like, I want to be able to like forgive her for my own peace of mind, not to bridge the relationship, but just to like have some kind of a start to healing.
So your question is?
So my question for Nedra is, how do I carry the void of the disappointment and the hurt and the distance, but also like, is there a chance that I could truly forgive her and be able to kind of move on, even though we obviously are both still, here in the world and crying, the whole stadium.
Does she have Nedra's response?
I think you have to accept that people can birth a child without parenting them.
There it was.
And what I'm hearing in your situation is you have a mother, but you don't have the nurturing of one.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very hard to reconcile that while you're mothering, right? And other people are being mothered and they're telling you about their mother and you should do this for your mother, but you don't have that role or that connection with your mother. And so it's very important for you to accept that you can give birth without parenting.
Mm-hmm.
I think you also need to allow yourself to be angry, because sometimes we're not making room for that and we're just rushing toward forgiveness. I have to hurry up and forgive.
Especially if you live in a culture that says, but it's your mother and it's the only mother you have.
And that's another thing I talked about, is that anger often was seen as an unhealthy emotion. But I feel like in this situation, when it comes to healing, I want people to know that anger can be a healthy emotion, a healthy release. Letting yourself feel the anger, letting it come up, not in a way that's hurtful to other people or hurtful to yourself, but recognizing it. I think people are taught to suppress anger so much that they don't recognize that part of healing means acknowledging all the feelings, the hurt, the shame, the guilt, all of it. And anger is one of those emotions that I want people to learn that it's okay to release it in a way that's not, harmful to other people or yourself. Okay. You have to start putting yourself first. It takes a lot of time, especially when you've been conditioned to put other people's needs ahead of your own. It takes a long time. Yes, compassion. Compassion. Well, I'm not saying to forget how family hurt you when they don't feel guilty. I'm not saying to forget. I'm just saying that in order to heal from some of the things and to work on forgiveness, it doesn't mean to forget. You'll never forget those things, to be honest with you. It's more about, I can't let those wounds be at the forefront of my life. That's more of what I mean. Yeah, I think forgiveness, people make it all about, if I forgive, does that make me weak? Does it mean I let them back into my life? Does it excuse the behavior? No, you have to focus on forgiving yourself and recognizing, what would forgiveness feel like? What do I need it to look like? Because it is part of your healing journey. And when I also work with people when it comes to healing, one of the first questions I ask them is, what does healing look like for you? Where does it start? Okay, because I can't take you to a place that you have not even thought about in your mind, that you haven't even created space for. Not only do you have to make room for them 60-minute therapy sessions, you also have to make room for how you feel afterwards, the changes you're going to make in your life, the work in between the sessions. We get 1 hour a week. So are you willing to make room in your lifestyle for healing? And most people are not. They think just coming in for 1 hour a week is enough. And it's really not. Okay. Very true. Very true. Yeah, that's why I want people to learn that anger can be also a healthy emotion. People are conditioned that it's a bad emotion, and it can be bad. All emotions can be bad. They can be good, they can be bad, but there's so much nuance in the word anger, what it looks like, how it shows up in your life. It's interesting because this person who posted the video, she said overall, the therapist, with the exception of one, Dr. Coleman, the rest of them were biased and pushed their narrative. Dr. Coleman is for both parties. As usual, the EP was outnumbered. I don't know who the EP is. The only EP was Christy. Oh, I forgot to talk about the dad too. There's a dad that was a mom and that chose no contact, but Christy is the only mom. The show did not push back on anyone else's story. There was way too many unethical social media therapists that push no contact.
Maybe she's an associate. I'm not sure, but perhaps there is something there. If you can remove that expectation of parenting from her because she hasn't done it and she's not doing it, maybe there's a little bit left there that you can have. I don't know what that is. And maybe it's nothing, but you decide what that forgiveness looks like. And it sounds like you have learned how to be a nurturer, even though you didn't have it.
Yeah, and may I say this, that in all the years of all the shows and all the experts, my best example or best definition for me of forgiveness that has carried me through many a situation is that forgiveness is giving up the hope that the past could be any different. I don't even remember who said that so many years ago, but when they said it, the hairs on my arm raised because I was like, wow, it's not even about that other person. It's about you giving up the hope and you accepting finally that this, as Bristol has already done, that the relationship is what it is. And there's not going to be one thing you can change. You cannot change yourself. You cannot change that situation.
Recognizing what are you in control of? What are you in control of? And everything else you are not in control of, you have to learn to let that shit go. You can't try and have control over everything. Your therapy, your peace, the work your parents do on themselves. You can't. You can't have control over everything. Okay. Ooh. Stop treating kids like crap. Oh, okay. Estranged parents. Okay. No, some of these shorthands, y'all. I think when they mean social media therapists, the therapists like me who are on social media. A therapist with a social media account, a person trying to do therapy on TikTok. I think in this case, they're just lumping everyone in together. Like if you're a therapist with a social media platform, people consider you a social media therapist. Mm. Now, this guy is the one, particular parent on the stage who reflected. Okay. who decide, I want my relationship with my daughter to work, so that means I have to do some work myself. And none of the other parents talked about going to therapy, but he did. He talked about going to therapy and doing the work to really make his relationship with his daughter work, because it was more valuable for him to go to therapy than to have his daughter not talk to him. And oftentimes, I think a lot of the parents are just not willing to do the work on themselves, or do it because, oh, my daughter says she'll start talking to me again if I go to therapy. And then they go to therapy and they only are going for the purpose of making somebody else happy. Therapy will not work if you're only doing it to make somebody else happy, whether that's a parent, a relationship, a friend. It doesn't work. Yes, expectations. Yes, expectations for yourself and for other people. Okay, for other people. Now I'm trying to remember if there's anything else from this that I want to kind of go over. Oh, we really hear Dr. Gibson speak too much.
With their own feelings and how things affect them. And lots of times when you've had a dominant parent, that ability to know what you actually feel and think has been messed with. Okay? Because it becomes an issue of you love your parent by agreeing with what they see. So actually, no, I'm all about helping people to understand the dynamics of the relationship, how it's affecting them, and then they make the decision about what they want to do.
Well, how do you talk to them about your emotionally immature parent, and how do you determine whether a parent is emotionally immature?
Yeah. I really stay away from those terms in psychotherapy because I'm not
But you wrote
there.
a whole book about it.
I did write the book.
When I'm coming in, I'm coming to the lady. I'm coming to the lady who wrote the book about emotionally immature parents, okay?
Absolutely.
Whether you
Yeah.
mention it or not in our session. Yeah.
Right. But when I'm talking with them in the session, I'm describing behavior.
Mm-hmm.
They're describing behavior, and we're talking about the effect of those behaviors on them. Down the road, once they've read the book, then we might use that shorthand about emotional immaturity. But at the time, we're just trying to understand their subjective experience of that parent.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I want to bring in Nedra Goldberg, Tawab. Nedra is a licensed therapist and a relationship expert known as the boundary queen on social media. And you're nodding for both of them. So what does that mean?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's such a thin line between like what's appropriate and what's gone too far. Because as therapists, we do see our clients suffering. And as Lindsay mentioned, I don't say like you need to leave this relationship, but
Right.
I might think like, I wonder how you will feel if you did.
Yeah. I think there's a way of asking questions to help people come to terms with things on their own without us saying, yeah, you should get a divorce. I might ask you questions to help you think deeper and reflect. A lot of people who come to me for therapy are always like, you ask the best questions. Because I want you to think about some things. I want you to consider what your life would look like if you weren't with this person. But I'm never going to say, yeah, you should leave your husband. I think there's a delicate way of having a conversation about that, and people come into it on their own terms. It's not my job to tell you, you should leave your husband, you should go no contact. That's a decision you have to come up with your own. I agree. Yeah. I often wish I learned about NPD when I was dealing with when I was younger. I think people don't recognize that they have a parent or they've been dealing with NPD until they go to therapy. Whether that's a relationship with a parent, a partner, a husband, whatever. Most people don't know until they're trying to get out of it. And a therapist brings up certain like language, examples, has you self-reflect. I'm sure for some people also, it's also oh, I saw this video on TikTok that kind of felt a little bit too much, a little bit too familiar. But most people don't actually know they're in a relationship with someone who's a narcissist until they're trying to get out of it. Oh, okay. You went to one of her seminars. Yes, the dad realized he messed up. Yes. And wanted to change. That's the thing. He wanted to be better. He wanted to be better. People seem to think therapists just tell their clients what they yeah, we don't do that, y'all. At least the good ones don't. Okay. I'm sure there's some bad ones out there, but I don't do that. Okay, I don't do that. I ask a lot of questions. Mm. Parents are adults with kids. And to give grace from a distance, yeah. I think this is so true for a lot of people. That's why it's so hard not to have your productivity tied to your self-worth because you're so used to being praised for performance, for doing, that I ask my clients, when you were just idle, where you were just sitting, were you praised? Okay. Was sitting a luxury? Was doing nothing a luxury? That now you don't know how to sit down. You don't know how to see your self-worth as, okay, if I don't go to work today, does that make me a bad person? No. If I don't put these clothes away tonight, you're very critical of yourself because you still hear that critical parental voice. Okay. So it's now relearning, reparenting yourself that my productivity is not tied to my self-worth. And that's so hard for a lot of people to sit with. Well, you thought therapy was us telling people what to do? No. Yeah, there's nothing to change them. There's really nothing to change them. This is true for a lot of people. It was not an option. You had to be doing cleaning, going to parties, being in 3 different sports activities, making honor roll. You had to be performing. So now ask yourself, do I struggle just to sit? Is it hard for me just to sit down and do nothing? Ah, if you have time for leaning, you have time for cleaning. I feel like so many people have heard that. I learned that if I wasn't clean or doing something all the time, my mom would find something for me to do. It took a lot for me to unlearn that. I think people are still not even connecting that that comes from childhood. Yes, the love was conditional and transactional. Okay, it was transactional. I agree. Yeah. Yeah. Now I think the last clip I wanted to go over was Miss Ma'ams. Do I have it saved on here? I think I have it saved on my actual page. What was the other woman who was talking about her daughter going no contact with her? Maybe I didn't save it. I was on her page the other day. Her name was like Curly something. Yeah, I don't know where it is now, but I want to talk about her. Oh, okay. Here she is.
So the general consensus is a lot of people on my platform didn't like the hospital.
She was in her car. Dang. It's funny because when I watched the video, she's like, I could do 20 videos about this. It looked like she did.
I cannot stand you. I'm glad you can't stand me because I don't need weak women in my circle. You can't stand me, but you can't stop watching me either, can you? I'm so bothered by this. Can you tell?
Oh, she got an ego too. But where's the one where she talked about being on Oprah?
I have a question. I have a question for all of the people that are making negative comments about the people that were invited to go to Oprah Podcast. So many of you are making negative comments and slamming the podcast, but I have a question. Why are you using clips from the podcast of the person that you despise so badly? Why are you using it on your platform? Why are you promoting it? Why are you pushing out content showing the podcast that you despise so badly? Just kind of curious. You know, I knew that I was going to catch some flack when I went to Oprah. I knew I would. But I honestly didn't expect so many creators to kind of be backstabbing. So I'm just curious. Why are you using Oprah's content? Why are you using the podcast?
Girl, shut up.
So I'm cleaning teeth today. I'm subbing. I'm at an office working on my patient, and I hear the other hygienist walk her patient to her room. They're having conversation. How was your Thanksgiving? She said, it was good. She said, but kind of sad because one of my children wasn't there. I'm estranged from my son. So of course my ears perk up. Hear the big bad word that we hear all the time. Estranged, estrangement. My son don't talk to me. My daughter doesn't talk to me. Yeah, it's everywhere, guys. I am telling you, there is no doubt in my mind that it's not more than 30%. Every single day that I'm a hygienist, I see 8 to 10 patients a day. Every single day when you talk to patients about their life, they talk to you about your life. Every single day, it gets brought up by a patient that they're estranged or they're sad.
I highly doubt that.
Or their kid's not in their life. It always gets brought up. It's everywhere. I'm telling you, I will believe forever that it's more than 30%. You won't change my mind that it's not. It's everywhere, guys.
It's everywhere because people don't feel like they have to put with the bullshit no more. Okay, I ain't gotta put with the bullshit no more. Okay, that's why it's everywhere. So a lot of you guys are saying you struggle with just relaxing. So many people, I hear this all the time. You feel lazy. Yeah, you have to start to practice. And I for people who struggle with this when I'm working with them, I say just set a timer. Start by sitting down, maybe I start off with 10 minutes. Set a timer because you have to slowly get comfortable over time. So start off with a timer, set the timer, and gradually increase it. 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes. So you can get to a point where you can sit down maybe for 30 minutes, no scrolling, just sitting down and getting comfortable with the fact that I'm just going to sit here, not fold these clothes, not, puff up the pillows on the couch. Really just get used to just sitting. Oh, a lot of guilt. You have to work through it over time and figure out where it came from, where it started. Go back to the origins of your childhood and figure out why you struggle so much to sit still. Or put yourself first. That's part of self-care also. Who are you talking about, JJ? That's the one. I don't think I must have stopped watching before the whole hospice thing came up because I didn't watch that part. Yeah, very transactional. She knows you too. Worry about your own patients. It's so many people in her comments so sad they feel seen by her. Yes. Yes. I have a question, people. It's not, girl. No, she only cares about herself and her followers. She said go to Home Goods. She's not that smart, y'all. Y'all getting on her. I didn't go through her whole profile. There was primarily one that she talked about that there was a lot of tension. That's the one I was trying to find because she said there was a lot of tension at the Oprah filming. Oh, here it is.
So I just want to start by saying thank you to everybody who sent all these wonderful DMs, comments, all the support. I feel so lucky and blessed to have so many people that are so kind to me on this app. I'm super thankful for the opportunity that I got to represent so many of you parents out there that don't have a voice and you haven't found your voice yet to speak up and say anything. I'm super thankful that they chose me to be one of those people to represent us. What my thoughts were. My thoughts are crazy all over the place. I could probably do 20 TikToks with stuff that's going on in my brain since that podcast aired. But let me start by saying I just watched it last night for the first time. Now, keep in mind when I was talking, I was looking at Oprah. I was not paying any attention to my surroundings, who was sighing, who was rolling their eyes, who was puffing and puffing. I had no idea until I watched the podcast. So let's just say I was completely shocked to see Little Miss Fancy Pants hospice nurse doing the side eye at me. I mean, I'm thinking you're a professional and you're on this platform looking like that. So I love that they left that in because it shows her true colors. So I was completely shocked. Watching it back, I didn't remember a lot of things, probably from my nerves. So I was able to process the podcast more, just like you guys, versus being there, because when you're there and you're nervous, you're not catching everything that everybody's saying. So my overall consensus is I feel like it was biased. There was tension in the room. There was tension at the hotel between estranged parents and estranged children, just like there is on this app. I feel like if Dr. Coleman wasn't there, it would have been extremely biased. I do feel like going into this, I had talked to the producer and said, hey, if I'm coming, I don't want to be attacked. I don't want therapists coming at me. I don't want estranged children coming at me. I get enough hate. I want this to be a neutral place. I don't want to be having anybody come at me. It's assured it's not going to happen. And for the most part, I don't think that they did. I do feel like Lindsay and Nedra, the two female therapists, used my TikTok video being a little aggressive. I don't want to ruffle some feathers to kind of at the end of the podcast, make it seemed like they were talking like in general that, well, parents need to realize if they have strong personalities, maybe they're not approachable. Like they were kind of looking at me as they were saying it. So I feel like they were directly talking to me, and that TikTok did make me look aggressive, but anyone that follows me knows that all of my TikToks aren't aggressive. I do feel like Oprah was pretty neutral. I don't feel like she swayed one way or the other, which was nice. I do wish there would have been more talk and more talk about children needing to take accountability for what they've done to their parents. I feel like everything was leaning on the parents. What the parent has to do to change to be able to accept children this day and age, and, everything that we needed to work on as a parent. And I don't feel like that was right. Do I think the podcast accomplished anything? No, I don't. What I'm hoping that the podcast did is bring awareness. I'm hoping that,
Isn't that accomplishing something, bringing awareness? Society. Oh, this is very true. Very true. A lot of narc mothers really hate their daughters. When she said her sons think she's great, but her daughter doesn't talk to her, all I heard was a toxic boy mom who hates her daughter. I don't know about the word hate because I don't know the dynamics of their relationship, but it is interesting that the boys think that she is a great mom and the daughter doesn't. I wonder about the relationship with her and her daughter growing up. Um, so there's a lot more layers and peeling to be done about the relationship with her daughter. And for her to say that, oh, her daughter didn't get her way, and then one day we got matching tattoos as a family. I thought we were doing great. Okay, I thought we were doing great. Yeah, I would be interested to hear from her and the son from that other woman too. Oh yeah, she said she was conflict avoiding, right? Is that what she said on the podcast? That a lot of these kids don't have conflict resolution skills, so they just run away. Oh, yeah, she's all about her image. And like I said, I wonder if she shut down the platform, her TikTok audience, would that help with her relationship with her daughter? I'm sure her doing all these videos, all this content is not helping things. Okay, it's really not helping things. There are kids who speak up. There was another no contact mother who I think the daughter would come up and tell her own story. The whole plot. The whole plot. She don't care though. I don't really think she cares. You have to think like for older people, like this whole social media thing, it's like, oh, I can get attention. I could say things and people will respond. They're not used to this whole TikTok, Facebook thing. It wasn't there back in the day. So now it's my time to shine. That's another aspect of it. I see a lot of older people who recognize, oh, social media will feed my ego. They'll tell me what I want to hear. Yeah. Yep. Validation. Validation, Miss Doctor. Yes. Ooh. Especially with her saying that there was no, what she say, there was no resolution or something she said. She felt like the podcast didn't accomplish anything. This is also JJ, that's a very good thing that you're saying because I've seen two siblings who grow up in the same home and have two vastly different experiences of how things were. One person feels like, oh, all this trauma that you talk about that we went through, I don't remember any of it. Whereas the other child's like, I went through a lot. And the other child's like, I don't remember any of that. And that can also make you feel like, am I crazy? Was it really not that bad? Maybe I shouldn't go no contact because evidently, maybe I don't remember it right. Is another thing. Okay, is another thing. But any final thoughts about the whole podcast, conversations, things that came up that we haven't really discussed? We went over a lot tonight. Hopefully you guys got some things that some healing, some things that you can maybe journal about or discuss in your own therapy sessions with your therapist. Yeah, here they're on it now. They're on it now. Yeah, they're on it now. Yeah, very different experiences. I see it all the time. Man, I saw that news today all about Todd. I'm like, damn, y'all was right. It's getting ugly real quick. Real quick. Real quick. Oh, you only watched this? You didn't watch the podcast? Thank you. Thank you. Oh, okay. Well, it's good you thought you can have a voice here. Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's been a good conversation. Very good conversation. Now I think I'm gonna go. I'm almost done with the Beast in Me. Child, what y'all got me watching? What y'all got me watching? I think I'm on episode 5, so I'll probably finish that. I'm also gonna watch Empty Rooms. Let me get my tissues. Okay, I'm gonna watch Empty Rooms and probably put up, since it's a short little documentary, probably put that up on the channel tomorrow. I'll try and put up the Beast in Me um discussion tomorrow. And then of course Wednesday we'll probably discuss the whole Diddy thing. Yeah, thanks for coming by. Oh, thank you. We should really go live together one day though. We should go live together one day. I don't think she cares to be reflective though. There's no value in that. Okay, people are not flocking to her to hear her talk about getting back together with her daughter. That's not what they want to hear. That's not what they want to hear. Yeah, hugs to everybody going through it. Oh, I'm glad you came by. I'm glad you stayed the whole time. What are your final thoughts? It's not helping the relationship, no. Mm-mm. But thank you guys. Yeah, we should especially since we both into all the Bravo stuff. I know Beverly Hills is coming up, but I don't watch Beverly Hills. But we should go live. Maybe just to talk about the Todd and Candy stuff. But yeah, slide to my DM so we can discuss going live about some of this Bravo stuff happening. Jen Shaw getting out of jail. Okay. Oh yeah, you didn't watch it either. Wow, yeah, some of y'all didn't really watch it. Y'all just came over here with the clips. Oh, I'm talking about the Diddy documentary is coming out tomorrow morning. 50 Cent's documentary about Diddy. Y'all haven't heard about that? It's supposed to come out tomorrow morning. Yeah. Y'all want to talk more about Candy and Todd. Okay, so maybe me and homegirl over here, we will go live together. Well, I can't believe so many people didn't watch it, but y'all came to the live. That's so crazy to me. Wow, y'all really just like hearing me talk. Yeah, the Diddy documentary comes out tomorrow morning on Netflix. Netflix, yes, it's gonna be on Netflix. My schedule is pretty busy tomorrow and Wednesday, so I gotta find some time to watch it this week. I don't know. I have a feeling it's gonna be different than what people are expecting. I think it's gonna be different than what people are expecting. So I plan on watching it sometime this week. But thank you guys for coming. Hit the like, join the membership if you want to, if you got 99 cents in your pocket, join the membership. It's only 99 cents. But I really enjoyed the live. I enjoyed the conversation. I hope people got what they needed. People felt seen, heard, and felt safe. I hope people felt safe in this conversation. Okay. But yeah, have a good evening, you guys. I've been talking all day. I have 4 sessions today? I have 4 sessions and this live. Okay. So I need to make sure my voice is good for actual working tomorrow. But enjoy the rest of your evenings. Thank you guys for coming, and I will see you in the next one. Bye. Bye, everybody.